wanna know what y'all had for dinner. Ow. I wanna watch the rodeo. Ow. Down, down, down. Big city boy, be a man, not a boy. I wanna meet y'all down.
You're watching Superskum. This is Carlos Reale. We're here with Canada's own Devin Townsend. Thank you so much, man, for giving us a little bit of your time. Let us bug you with a few of the questions over here. You know, the first question to get it out of right off the bat is, can you explain some of your audience what the difference is between Devin Townsend Project, and the Devin Townsend Band?
Not much, to be honest. I think probably just comes down to the logo at this point. Well, per record, I think that everything that I've done, I kind of define in my own mind as being a certain thing, right? Like, and sometimes what defines it is like the lyrical concept or, you know, the personnel involved or what have you. But I like to think that everything I've done, from strapping through the Hummer, Ziltoid, Epic Cloud, whatever, it's just the same thing. It's just a different period of my life, right? But the process is the same, and it's the same person. And why I name it different things, I think ultimately just comes down to the fact that I'm not very good at the selling of what I do, and hopefully eventually it will just end up being Devin Townsend, and we'll be able to make up for some lost time that was confusing people, right?
And you'll wrap it up that way and right. Enjoy the rest of a better career, which, you know, you already have a pretty good one so far.
Well, I mean, I guess if I'm going on to the assumption that my career has been what it is, which has been very nice, but I mean, but if the lack of popularity is due to just the name, then perhaps I'm deluding myself more so than I think, right?
Epic Cloud's coming out actually in 4 days, September 18th. It's a new album, and you have a somewhat of a challenge going on right now for the video of, what is it, the Lucky Animals video, right? Right. You basically did your own take on it, your own video, and issued like what should be the guidelines for fan or audience participation in this case for it. Does the website is working? Is the contest going on right now? Where can people do it? Have you seen some of the tapes? You already started getting some material?
The deadline submission is over, so everything that is going to be in the video is being accepted. And essentially it's not a contest as much as I wanted to include the audience in it, and my submission to it, more so than showing guidelines, was just hopefully showing by example that there's not much you can do that's too idiotic, right? But we got about 100 submissions, and they've done full videos. So at this point, trying to discern which participations are going to be in what part of the video is the challenge, right? But I've always considered what I do to be pretty public, and I like the idea that the people who are interested in the music are directly influencing what I do, right? Like, I try and be active on social media and all that as well, just to be able to, I like feedback, you know, and I know there's people that like what I do, and I know there's people that don't like what I do, and that's ultimately fine. And I just like to be able to hopefully make what I do come across as being a work in progress that involves the audience in a certain sense. And this video is just another example of that, right? And
yeah, are you including that song on the set list in this current tour right now?
Yeah. It's the most annoying song I've ever written, man. Like,
actually, well, I think it's a pretty cool song, but if you're including it over here, have you seen fans trying to, what we're going to call, do the Devin? Yeah. Have you seen fans do the Devin with the guns and the Broadway hands and all that?
Wow. Yeah, no, I have. And I mean, you know, it's, what can you think about that, right?
You got more balls than I do, man. I'll tell you that I couldn't even dance that way. I suck at it. So, well, kudos to you.
I think the thing is, maybe less so than balls. Maybe just I've often commented about my music that I've never been technically like a cool dude, right? Like, going back to high school, right? Like, it's always been sort of left to center. And I think that there's a real liberating quality to that, because then you're not competing with anything, right? If you are at the head of a certain thing, like maybe you're the head of the thrash metal movement, you've got parameters that are going to be imposed on you just as a result of being that ultimately are going to limit your ability to sort of say, well, fuck it, I'm just going to do this. Right, yeah. So, you know, now that I'm 40 and been doing this for more than half my life, right? I think it's really cool because I can say, well, I'm going to make a pop record now. I'm going to make a country record now. I'm going to make a death metal record now. I'm going to make a ambient record now. I'll make a new age record now. And the reason why I choose to do that is not like as an affront to the people who have supported it. Like, quite the opposite. I just feel like if I'm motivated or compelled to do a certain type of music, and then I don't do that for the sake of expectation, like when we did Deconstruction, I remember when it came out, people were confused by it, but a year later, there's a good portion of, it does smell like shit around here, doesn't it? It's wicked. But there's a
we told you before we started. You said you wanted to smell like shit in the interview. Yeah.
Add this smell to the spank bank for later, right?
I hope we don't fuck up your voice in any way. But
perfect. That's it. Show's over, guys. Yeah, but it's like I hope that you know. Okay, where was I? Well, with Deconstruction, a year later, there's a good portion of the people who have listened to what I do. They say, well, we wouldn't mind hearing that again. And I'm like, well, that was then, and that. The reaction to that was Ghost, and the reaction to Ghost was Epicloud, and the reaction to Epicloud is this Casualties thing that I'm working on, and I'd say that anybody who's interested in Epicloud, be interested in it now because it's certainly not going to be what's coming next. Right?
So what would you describe as far as the sound of Epicloud is like?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that. I think life and the world tends to impose on us at this point this sort of media-fronted sense of fear and anger and hostility and confusion and just, distrust towards one another. And I mean, I'm certainly not ignorant to the problems and the threats that society and the amount of human beings on this planet poses, but I think that it's within our choice capacity to choose maybe something else for what we are willing to put into the air, right? And at this particular point in my life, I just wanted to hear something fun. I wanted to hear something cool. I wanted to hear something that didn't have its root in like some sort of existential crisis that was demanding sympathy from strangers. I'm like, you know what, man? It's like there's too many of us. I know that when I turn on the radio and I hear some singer-songwriter, crowing on about overcoming some personal crisis, I'm just kind of like, no, cool, man. I don't have time. Honestly, man, I've got kids and a family and trying to make money and all this shit. I just don't have patience for other people's dramas at this point. And a lot of my music in the past has been based in the same thing. I'm like, please, everybody listen to my drama, right? But the last 4 records that I've done were expressly made, in my mind, to sort of get over that stuff, artistically at least. And so if the last 4 records are about getting over it, then Epicloud is essentially about, oh, I'm over it. Let's rock.
You said that, at one point in your life, specifically you mentioned when you stopped drinking and smoking, then kind of like the creative process took a hit, if you will. And, you went into more of the producing stage, then that one didn't fulfill pretty much your needs, and you went back. All of a sudden you sat down and you wrote 60 songs to come out with this incredible 4-album series concept that you developed. And what happened to that creative process? I mean, how and what has changed right now in the current stage of your creative process?
I think a lot of it has to do with my view on music is very much that it's a byproduct of life and it's not the focus, right? I think earlier on in my career, I had a lot more of my personality invested in what I did than who I am. And I think that lack of self-esteem, I think at the time, propelled me in directions that made music very precious to me. It made it something that I had a hard time taking criticism about or letting go, right? But then when I quit certain things in my life that were just very obviously no longer working for me, and I'm not pro or con drinking or drugs. I have no real personal investment in it other than how it affects myself and
Your experience.
Yeah. And for me, it just wasn't working for me anymore. It was making me paranoid, and it was making me, my personal relationships were suffering as a result. And ultimately, those are the things that are going to define me in my life, much more so than a record, right? So once I quit those things, I found that the process became a lot more about self-analysis and trying to figure out what part of me was holding my creative process back. And drugs and alcohol, if you've got an investment in any sort of a process, right? If you've got a creative world that's based on waking up in the morning and having like 9 bong rips and 5 cups of coffee, when that goes away, you're like, well, how do I do this now? And what I found was I was confronted by elements of my nature that I guess I had hidden for a long time. And it was the analysis of that allowed me just to sort of put music in a place that I was just like, oh, wow, you're very fortunate to do music. Music is a beautiful thing, and it's a wonderful part of your life, and you're very fortunate for however long you're able to do it, to be able to do it. So just write. Don't worry about that. If you're going to worry about anything, worry about that shit. That's the stuff that's going to hold you back, right? So for me now, it's very liberating musically, because I'm like, oh yeah, music? Oh sure, yeah, there's tons of it. And like somebody said to me earlier, they said, well, Epicloud, the double disc, you've got another 10 records, which is essentially another album. Why didn't you release it as another record? And again, I think that comes back to, it's not a precious thing. It's not like it's unimportant, but it's very much a case of like, well, music for me is something that comes naturally. I don't think you own it. I don't think that an artist necessarily writes it. I think it's just a product of your experiences, and fuck it, here's a ton of it. And if that one doesn't work, I got a ton more, right? And I think that letting it go like that has really helped me enjoy it in a way that I've never been able to before.
Speaking of the Ziltoid franchise, pretty much at this point, you talked even about doing ZTV episodes, interviewing bands with the Sock Puppet.
Yeah.
You also talked about, the Z2 musical, or Z Square musical at the same time. But more importantly, you actually, and I'm going to quote you here real quick, you said, I'm very rapidly realizing that humor and metal, it does not really work. So basically, why do you think that this is the case of mixing these two art forms? And can metalheads take a joke, or are we constrained by our own parameters in our own musical genre?
Well, I don't think it's fair to generalize, because I think it's definitely a lot more complicated than that. My response to that is, I think that metal as a genre, as the genre that it wants to be, is very conservative. And that quote was taken during deconstruction, when there was definitely a backlash of the humor on it. But my solution to that was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not a metalhead anymore. It's an element of what I do, but if it's not able to be mixed, I'm not doing music as an affront to people who have that as like their life. I've got no intention of like trying to confront people on their, shit, man, I like what you like, and if humor doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. And for me, I like it, and so I'm going to make it in the ways that I feel most comfortable making it. And if that sort of eliminates me from being part of the traditional heavy metal clique, that's fine, honestly. And in a way, that's how Epicloud came about, because I was like, okay, well, if that's not acceptable, that's totally fine. I don't want to offend anybody, so I'll go make a pop record. Fine.
No, and I'm with you on that one. We should have more humor in heavy metal. So
well, and even if we should or shouldn't, it certainly isn't going to stop me from doing it, right?
Exactly.
I just don't want to.
The best way of looking at it.
I just was afraid that I was like hurting people's feelings by doing what came naturally, and
Devin, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.